Okay, here we are. The fight that everybody has wanted for so long is finally here. Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia taking place at a catch weight of 136 pounds at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, and this is a big one. Like I said, two fantastic young fighters, two guys. Like I said, it's been a fight that people have been talking about for a long time. Garcia, 23 years old. Tank, 27 years old. Reach advantage is a little bit sketchy because I've been looking at about 5 tapes. They've all given me different readings for Tank. I've seen 57 reach advantage, 57.5 for Tank, 67.5. I'm going to say I don't think it's that much. I think it'll be about 67. So Garcia with a slight inch in reach. Both undefeated. Garcia 22-0, Tank 27-0. And yeah, a fight that I think it's labeled doesn't get better than this, and I think it's a very good label for a fight. Like, it's a huge fight, and I'd be interested to see what the pay-per-view figures are. Hasn't been a lot of promotion. They haven't done anything I feel out of the ordinary for this fight promotion-wise, but I will say it certainly has everybody talking, and as it should. It is a fight with two of the biggest young names in boxing, two of the biggest names in boxing, period, especially if you go US. Yeah, I don't think there've been many super fights recently in boxing. Even the undisputed fights you could look at. Even if you had even the new Sick Fury, I don't think would really be a super fight. And even a Wilder Fury is a good fight, but not a massive fight with two big names. This is one of those where there is two big names in the line. We all know about Tank. Mini Mike Tyson, from a young age, was groomed to be the next Floyd, not stylistically, but in terms of the pay-per-view name. And knockout artist, has the ability to put away one shot, southpaw, small, tricky, going up multiple weights, and is a pay-per-view style if you look at his figures. And somebody on Showtime, he's a name tank, and irrespective of what happens outside of the ring, which we all know always is an issue for Tank, excellent fighter and one of the best in the world. And I do think this, to me, is the first time for both of these guys where this is the big fight for both of them, the legacy fight. One of these getting knocked out, it's going to live with them for a long time, especially with the rivalry. There's not really like a bit of rivalry, but I think there's a respect between the two of them. But, you can tell both of these guys just want to get one over the other. And for Ryan Garcia, another one from a young age was looking like he was going to be a superstar. They're saying the big sort of next Mexican fighter. Somebody who, was training under Canelo, Eddie Reynoso, now has left. And someone who was looked at as maybe the next De La Hoya. He had similar tendencies to Canelo. Blistering hand speed, big sort of Instagram, I don't say Instagram fighter, but it's what he was. He was big on social media. Had a bit of a following almost outside the fight community. Influence, no Ryan Garcia. He's obviously got the thing with the Jake Paul and Logan Paul. Has that sort of body shot challenge thing that he was known for, and on Instagram, on all these other things, he's always posting how fast his hands are. And for a while, I think he was a bit of a for that reason, from the boxing community, I feel like he was a little bit looked down on. But I think now, people, regardless of what you think, you got to recognize his talent. He's grown on me a lot in these last few years, to be honest. Garcia, initially, I wasn't really sure. I didn't really like the whole. I don't know. I don't like when fighters almost have big superstars before they really achieved anything. It's never sat right with me. It didn't really sit that right with me when Anthony Joshua became big before he really had done much in the sport. Same thing, with Ryan Garcia. Emil Khan was the same back in the day. There's some fighters that kind of get that shine before they've done much, and there's some that you understand. You got Conor Ben, had the name Ben. Eubank Jr. was the same because of his dad. But I don't know. It never sits right with me when that happens. However, I think he's grown on me. I think I always don't recognize his skill. I just think that personality-wise, I think Ryan Garcia recognizes what place he is in the sport. And I think one thing about Garcia is I do think that he's somebody who has certainly a lot of deficiencies but a lot of strengths. And I think people sometimes almost don't want to recognize that. I do think this is a real close fight, a lot closer than what I thought it was initially. And initially, I'll be honest, a few months ago, not even a few months ago, I say about before this fight got announced, I would have said Tank is going to send Ryan into Pluto. However, looking at it, I don't know. This fight is a very, very close fight, and I want to go into it. So if you look at Tank's last few fights, he's fought Hector Luis Garcia, Rolly Romero, Isaac Cruz, Mario Barras, and Santa Cruz back in 2020. Decent, a lot of big names in there, but nothing that I think will make you stand out. And if you look at Ryan Garcia's last fight, he fought Javier Fortuna, in which he got the knockout. Before that, fought Manuel Tego, fought Luke Campbell before that, and Francisco Fonseca before that. So his last fight, 2022 last year. And then you also got his, he had about 2 fights in 2022, 1 in 21 and 1 in 20, and then 2 in 2019. So not really the most active Garcia, which I think is something that I will factor into this fight. Whereas for Tank, if you look at his, he's already fought twice. He's already fought this year against Garcia, Hector Luis Garcia. Fought once in 22, twice in 21, once in 20, and then he fought 3 times in 2019. So again, you might look at it and think it's not a huge thing, but you can see Tank's been a lot more active than Ryan has. And as always, I will go into this one, and we're going to see what I think, because I think it's an interesting fight stylistically. One orthodox, one southpaw, both fast, relatively powerful as well, both of them. I mean, Tank's, we all know, is powerful, but Garcia, a lot more powerful than I think people give him credit for. So, we go into it, starting off with the young California, I think he's from California, Ryan Garcia, or Mexican. I think somebody in Ryan Garcia who I think he's, obviously, Tank, I think, is going to be seen as the favourite in the fight, and makes sense. He has got the bigger names. He is from California, Garcia. He's actually 24. This is what I'm saying. It feels like all the numbers in this fight are very, very skewed. I hear the ages are different. Some people are saying Tank is 28. I don't know. But there is... Tank's a senior in there. He's got more fights on his belt. Still young himself, Tank, in the sport. But certainly the more experienced out of the two. And I think that's why naturally people will favour Tank in this one. However, with Garcia, there are many, many weapons that I think he has. First things first, whatever the actual breach advantage is, Garcia is no longer a fighter. Naturally, I don't think you want to play Tank's game and go into his guard and fight up close. I think stay long is the first. I think you stay long in this fight, and I think you'd have a lot more success. I think just keeping Tank at bay. I think with Tank, he doesn't throw a lot, which is something that people don't talk about. He's very economical. He will pick your shots at the right moment, and I think because of that, I think staying long and frustrating Tank is a smart thing. I think the other thing, to me, this is the big thing, is using that fast jab of Garcia. If Garcia's jab isn't, I would say, particularly amazing, but it's fast. His hand speed's there. And I think you can keep it fast and just keep Tank at the end of it. Tank, I could see there being a point where Garcia hits him with so many jabs and almost keeps him at the end of it, that Tank kind of rushes in. And I think that's where, we all know that Garcia's best punch is his left hook. And against the southpaw, that it can be harder to land, but it's certainly more effective against southpaws than I think it will be against some orthodox fighters, because obviously the angles are different. And I think with Garcia, that fast jab is going to be a real problem, I think, for Tank if he can keep at it. And I think, naturally, I personally think, with Garcia, your best bet of landing that left hook is making Tank come to you, and that's my third one. Make Tank come to him. You don't want to get in a firefight with Tank. As fast as Garcia's hands is, Tank is the more powerful of the two. And I think if you look at with Garcia, there's a few, he has a lot of glaring deficiencies. However, I think with most fighters, if you can turn your strength into the opponent's weakness, I think you stand way better of a chance. Then I think if you try to fight Tank's fight, I don't think it'll work. Tank's too powerful and too quick. And yeah, I think it's going to be a problem in there if Garcia does that. However, stay long, use that fast jab. I think if you can make Tank come to him, I think it definitely, I think he stands to be in a lot better chance, because I don't think you can fight off the Tank. I mean, Ryan Garcia can try and push Tank back. He can try and be the aggressor, but And I actually could see him doing that. He's a very emotional character, but I just don't know if that's really going to work. I can just see Tank will just time you coming in. And again, Garcia is powerful, but let's not get it twisted. Tank is a heavy-handed fighter who punches hard, can put you away with one shot. You don't really want to be going into a power puncher like Tank Davis's range and taking that risk. So I must say Garcia, like I say, stay long, make Tank come to him, and a fast jab, and I think you should be good. There's a lot of deficiencies which I'm going to get into with Garcia, which I see. But we're now going to get into Tank Davis. Now, first of all, Tank has many weapons. He's a lot better boxer than people give him credit for. We all know about the power, but also, like I said, he's accurate. He picks his shots very well. And one thing about Tank Davis, which I think almost, like I say, gets on the ropes. He's a very good boxer, and I think in this fight, if you can get Garcia, like I was saying, if you can get Tank coming to around Garcia, I think if you can do the opposite and get Garcia almost coming into Tank's range, I think for Tank it would be the smart thing. So my first point I'm going to say is fight off of the back foot. I think you could fight in the front foot and beat him, but I think you've got a way better chance. Put it this way, I think if Garcia fights on the back off the back foot and Tank fights off the back foot, I think Tank's got a better chance of picking Garcia with a shot than Garcia does because of Garcia's deficiencies. Now, second point. Now, we know that Garcia got knocked down by Luke Campbell a few years back. I think since 2020, I forget. But he obviously got knocked down by Luke Campbell. The way Luke Campbell did this is throwing almost a wide hook and put Garcia down. But Campbell, who's also a southpaw, was also pouring with that jab. And I feel that it should be the thing for Tank. I say to Garcia, he needs to use a fast jab. I think for Tank, you need to pour with the jab. I don't think that Garcia is really, what would be the word, has the tools to, I think, handle what Tank throws at him in terms of some of the pouring with the jab feints. I think Garcia's got a lot of skill, but he's in certain departments, he isn't a Devin Haney, a Shakur Stevenson, who is very well schooled in the fundamentals. There are little things that you can get Garcia with, and I think he has a decent boxing IQ, his ring IQ, but I don't think it's particularly fantastic. And I think we see this a few times in his fights. You see, he gets very messy at points, and I think if you're Tank, you pour with the jab, get Garcia reaching, and once you get Garcia reaching, that's when you can come over with that either overhand left, straight left, or go around with the guard with the left hook like Luke Campbell did. I'll say this, if Tank catches Garcia with that shot that Campbell did, I think we all know, one, he's either not getting up, or two, Tank's going to finish him off. Tank is not Luke Campbell. He will not let you off the hook. And that was I think, the problem where a lot of people had with Garcia in that fight. They recognise that he did good to come back. He showed the grit. He's got heart, Garcia. You can't deny that. But against an elite finisher in there, you're not making it out of there. And I think that's probably the issue. But irrespective, great finish from Garcia in that fight, though. And my third and final point. So like I said, I think fight off the back foot, pull with the jab. And my third point is getting inside Garcia's lead foot. Now, reason for this. Ryan Garcia has many skills. However, there is something about Ryan Garcia, and I don't know if people notice this. Naturally, and you kind of see this when he hits pads, right? Usually when a guy hits pads, you kind of see him changing levels. When they dip with the hook, they may go almost pivot onto one foot and throw it. They may, like I said, just change levels. If you throw an uppercut, maybe you go low and come up with it. Different things. We've seen so many fighters do this. Ryan Garcia has a very weird thing where he stands straight up. And he's done this throughout his whole career. And I think when I look at Garcia, I just feel like with a guy like Tank, if you can just get inside that foot. The reason I think Luke Campbell caught him is because Garcia has two things that I think are his issue defensively. He doesn't move his feet, he's flat-footed, and he doesn't move his head. Now that may come from Canelo, admittedly, because Canelo does move his head, but Canelo's quite flat-footed. But the difference with Canelo is his lateral movement is insane. You can't touch him. And Canelo only does that because he wants you to kind of throw the shots at him. There's rarely ever a point in a fight. I know the Bivol fight people may look at, but most of the time, Canelo is in a spot where he wants to be. And he's usually, even if he looks like he's getting outworked, he's usually doing it to set up a shot. Doesn't always work, but I think it's important to point that out. With Garcia, I don't think he has a choice because I don't think he really naturally either hasn't been taught it, or just people, or he just has never tried to really learn. I don't know. I'll go more with the coaching side because I don't often go to fighters for trying to learn stuff on their own. So I think if Tank can get inside that lead foot on Ryan Garcia, I think that is where I think you'll see him have way more success. Because again, Garcia doesn't move his feet, and I think you get inside with the speed of Tank. You catch him with 1-2s. Again, the jab is quick of Tank. I think you got a lot better chance, I think, of beating Garcia and roughing him up. I would like to see Tank be a little bit, go to the body a bit more in this fight and almost fight on the inside at points. But I think fighting off the back foot is your best chance of catching Garcia with something. But I mean, you can get inside that lead foot of Garcia. And Garcia is long, so it's not as maybe dangerous as you may think. And I think you stand way more of a chance in said fight if you were to do this. And I think with Garcia, like I said, his defense is lacking. He's not particularly fantastic. So I think your best bet. Fight off the back foot, pull with the jab. You get inside Ryan Garcia's lead foot, and I think you do that, and I think you stand a way better chance of landing those big power shots that I think Tank wants. And even though both of these guys want the win, I do think both of these guys want the knockout in this one. And I'm interested to see what happens in this. Coming on to my prediction then. Like I said, so with Ryan Garcia, I'll go over his deficiencies first. He stands straight up. There's no head movement, he doesn't really move his feet. There's no lateral movement really with Garcia either. So he's very much a straightforward throws fast hands at you, moves out the pocket. And I just think that's something that, I don't know, there's a lot of fighters that will punish you for that. I think they were smart not to fight Teofimo at any point, because I think Teofimo would have really caused problems for Ryan Garcia. I mean, Shakur Stevenson would do the same. Him and Haney would be interesting, but yeah, he doesn't move his head, his feet, and I think that's a problem for Garcia. I just think with Tank, he'll punish you for that. However, with Tank, he has a tendency at times, even though he doesn't swing crazy, to almost overextend. And the amount of times I've seen Tank overextend and a guy never makes him pay for it, it's troubling. Especially with a guy who's quick as Garcia. If he can just time a shot perfectly at the right moment, I could see him putting Tank down in this fight. And I think the hand speed is there for him to do it. That left hook is nasty. However, people know about his left hook, which I think is a problem. And when you have that one shot, don't get me wrong, there's some fighters they can maneuver it and still land it regardless. But I feel like people will be looking for that shot, and Tank will be knowing that. And I think you'll see Tank moving on to Garcia's left side, which is his power side. Because Garcia obviously is orthodox, but I think that left hook, like we said, it's money. Same with maybe it's a Garcia thing, but Danny Garcia was saying we all know about his counter left hook. It's beautiful, and that's why you see a lot of fighters shift over to his power side. I think in this fight, it's an intriguing one. It's two amazing young fighters. Neither of these two are washed out of their prime. It's a great fight, and I'm happy we are getting this. And I'm grateful with what we saw with Fury and Usyk. There is potential rumblings of a Spence Crawford fight being announced on the night. I'd love to see it, but at the moment, that fight's not been made. In an era where nobody fights anybody, it is so good to see two young fighters getting in their prime, two superstars. I love the build up for this. It reminds me, it's like and I'm not saying it's in a rude way, but it's like almost a B-Tech version of Mayweather Pacquiao in a way. The way, you see them doing appearances on different days, the fight weeks, almost like a whole circus. And I mean that again in a good way. It's good to see this. This is boxing, and I think when you've got two personalities like this and two superstars, this is what we need. But like I say, for my prediction, I think Ryan Garcia is excellent, but I just feel like he doesn't move his feet, doesn't move his head enough. I personally think that Tank Davis gets a knockout in about round 9, I will say. I think it will be close. I think I could see Garcia putting Tank down. I I think this fight is a lot closer than what people will give it credit for. However, I just think Garcia makes too many mistakes to me, and I think more than Tank. However, both of these guys aren't perfect, and I could see both of these guys going down. I could see it's being a real war in there. However, if it's a war and both of these guys start scrapping, there's only one winner in my opinion. Because as fast as Garcia is, the power of Tank is there, and also Tank's very, very quick himself. It's not as if there's a big speed discrepancy between the two. So, yeah, a real intriguing fight. This one, one of the most exciting fights for a long time. Two amazing young fighters, Tank, Garcia, finally here. April 22nd, I'll do a review after the fight. And yes, until next time.